Mark, what about that result at Fir Park yesterday for Philippe Clement? Motherwell 2, Rangers 2, off the back of losing to St Mirren in the game before. Not exactly the build-up you want going into an Old Firm game.
No, on the back of the defeat in Paisley a few days ago, Rob, I don't think it was a major surprise that Rangers dropped points yesterday. It could have been more, and they've left themselves in a poor position getting into Thursday's Old Firm game at Ibrox. 14 points behind at the halfway stage of the season. Rob, for me, if you're a Rangers player, if you're Philippe Clement, that is an absolute embarrassment. An absolute embarrassment to be 14 points behind. If Barry Ferguson or Craig Moore were in this studio tonight and they were Rangers players, they'd be embarrassed to be in that situation. Credit to Celtic, they've been fantastic. They've set a high standard, but for Rangers to be out of the title race so soon and by such a margin, Rob, is absolutely unacceptable. And the only question now is, when does Philippe Clement lose his job? Not if, it's when he loses his job.
Andy?
The only thing I would say is I've been in that position. I've been in a Celtic team who were finishing fourth in the league. A really difficult period in the 90s. What do? You do your best. You keep giving everything that you have. And I think I've said it before. I think the Celtic board at that time, they stuck by Tommy Burns because he could put together a team as poor as we were, as average as we were. We could go to Ibrox and win. We could beat Rangers at Parkhead or Hampden, wherever it was. And I look at Rangers at the moment and I hear what Mark is saying, but they have squandered a lot of money, and I don't know if they're buying into Philippe Clement and what he's done in maybe the good parts of the season. And I know that it's an embarrassment to be 14 points behind. I think that will only grow. But what if you get rid of him? What money have you got to give someone else to come in? They've squandered so much. They've spent so much on players that are no longer there. And for the new guys who are behind the scenes and maybe making the big decisions, it's a really big call. I mean, I think Celtic can go to Ibrox and win in a couple of days. I think they're that good. I mean, we're at this stage of the season and they've lost four league goals. It's astonishing. I don't think they've lost a goal in the last 5, maybe 6 games. Celtic are really strong at the moment. And what Celtic can do that Rangers can't, they can turn to players who are not recognised. If you're playing the top teams in Europe or Rangers on Thursday, they can play other players who will get the job done and look really good. So it's a big call for Rangers, of course it is. And I agree with Mark, it's an embarrassment. I think that 14-point gap will only grow. But it's an even bigger call to pull that trigger on Philippe Clement. The cost of getting rid of him, his coaching staff, the cost of getting someone else in. I don't know what money they have, if any, to give a new manager. We know we've got a January transfer window. The Rangers start to change things around then. It's a really big call.